A little bit ago, I worked at a camera store. I worked there for over half a decade. And while I was there, I learned a great deal about how the industry works. And it's not always what you might think. Today, we're going to walk inside and I'm going to talk to you about a few things that I learned when I worked at a store. So, when I say I worked at a camera store, I actually worked at this camera store. So, let's go inside and we'll talk. Like I mentioned outside, I learned a lot working here, and I found that there's a lot of common questions that come up, a lot of common situations that come up, and it taught me a lot. But before I get started, really quick, I'd like to thank Rockbrook Camera for letting me come in here and record. I haven't been an employee here for about 5 years, and it's very nice of them. No money exchanged hands. They're just really nice people, whether you're a customer or an ex-employee. And if you need any new or used equipment, this is where I would start. A link to their store is in the description box below. So the first thing that I learned when I worked here was that I came in here a fan of a specific camera brand. It was the only one that I had owned. And it turned out that brand, sensor size, resolution, all those things, for most people, it does not matter. There are a few highly technical exceptions to that, and a few places where you really do need to spend a lot and get exceptional gear. But for things like portraiture and travel photography, most cameras on the market will get the job done. Technique and lens choice in that order to me mean a lot more than the brand that you're shooting or what size sensor it has. To illustrate that, we brought in 2 speakers while I was here. Between the 2, they have 3 Pulitzer Prizes, so these are really talented photographers, and both of them shot Micro Four Thirds, which at the time was the smallest sensor on the market and the lowest resolution on the market, or tied maybe for the lowest resolution on the market. And they both took stunning photography. So why would they use a camera? These people could probably have chosen any brand that they wanted to partner with. Why would they choose not the highest end thing, not the biggest sensor, not the most resolution? Well, they were traveling and they needed small, rugged cameras. The camera system that they chose had small, rugged cameras, and they produced exceptional photography with them. We got to watch a presentation with a giant projector screen, and the image quality was amazing. They were doing publication-ready work with a really humble camera. That's not to say that there's anything wrong with full-frame cameras or high-resolution cameras. I own a full-frame camera, and I love it. But don't get hung up on what the next person is shooting. All the brands for most people will get the job done. I got to see a lot of customers' photos. A lot of people would come in very happy with the shots that they got, and a lot of people did really great work with really humble gear because they paid attention to what they were doing and learned as much as they could. So the second thing that I learned working here is that if you're a working professional or that's the direction you want to head, something you need to consider is how good is the service for the camera system that you're getting into. They vary a little bit. If you're shooting long enough, something's going to break. So the ability to get your camera back quickly and get back to work and not have to rent is important. As an example, one of the brands of cameras I personally own, I remember when we were here, we sent off a couple to be fixed, and largely all of them take care of their customers. But in 2 instances, we sent cameras away. It took a while to get them back, and when we got them back, they had the same problem they left with. And that's super frustrating as a dealer when you're trying to help a customer, super frustrating as a customer who's had to endure waiting a long time only to get back their camera with the same problem it left with. And so it was a bad experience. The other camera system that I own has a less compelling offering than some others on the market right now, but their service is top notch. They're very fast, they take care of their customers, they communicate very well, and not that it's pleasant to have your camera serviced, it has to be broken in the first place, but as far as service goes, they're fantastic. So if I was a working pro and was only going to invest in one system, I'd probably choose the latter just because I want to get my stuff back, I want to know where it's at, I want to be able to plan what I need to rent, and I think that's really important. Companies with great service are just going to make those little problems that come along a lot less painful. The third thing that I learned working at the store was that there's more than one way to get to a great photograph. Technical mastery does not always mean great photography. An example of that, there was a wedding and portrait photographer that worked with us, did some rentals and stuff, and I got to see a lot of their work. And in the interactions with them, I never got the feeling that they were a speeds and specs kind of person, that they just knew enough to do what they needed to do. And the results were stunning. But the person had really great interactions with customers, really knew how to get people to relax and pose and look natural. They were really great at finding compositions in great light. They just weren't a speeds and specs kind of person. they were booked out probably a half a year at any given time. Super popular photographer. And to some people who have spent a lot of time, like I have in classrooms learning how to take pictures, that might seem a bit odd, but I think that that's a really natural thing, and that depending on the kind of photography you do, perhaps the skills of interacting with people might be more important than the skills of mastery of the camera. And there's a flip side to that. Some people would come in and they were very, very focused on, this new camera came out and it's a little bit faster readout, or it's a little higher resolution. How does that affect the image? And looking at their images, sometimes I go, well, it's not a very good picture, right? The images don't have good composition, they don't have good light, and no amount of megapixels will fix that. So, not to say the technical mastery is bad. I knew some very, very, very proficient, very technical photographers that took great pictures, but it's not necessary in all of the genres of photography to be a technical mastermind. So those realizations help me understand that there's more to photography than just tech specs. Once you have a good camera, the focus on practice and improving your skills and finding good people to do business with, both as potentially clients and suppliers, those things are really going to help you become a great photographer. I really enjoyed working in the industry. I got to meet tons of really interesting customers in a bunch of different genres. I got to meet really great tech reps, and if you ever have a free event come near you where you can interface with tech reps, they're a wonderful source of knowledge. And we got to play with a lot of gear, a lot of high-end gear that I still can't afford. And it was really fun to take those out and learn so I could help people understand them better. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. This is a new channel, and all that support is free, and it really helps us grow so we can continue to produce videos like this. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I try to get back to them really quickly. Thanks for watching, and good luck on your art journey.